Hello everyone. In this lecture, we will understand how to calculate first in the given grammar. So let's understand. If you have to calculate the first of a variable, let's say a, it should contain all the terminals present in the first place of every string derived by a. So let's say I'm taking a production for explanation. Here is the production where variable s is producing three productions, right? The first production is starting with terminal A. Second production is also starting with a terminal only, and that is D. Third production is starting with a terminal G. So basically, first of a terminal will always be a terminal, and first of epsilon will also be an epsilon. You have to keep these points in consideration when you are calculating the first. So here, if you need to find out the first of this variable s, so that will be the very first symbol of every production, but that first symbol should be a terminal. Otherwise, if it's not a terminal, I will make you understand how to calculate the first in the coming videos. So here I am finding the first of s, the very first symbol, that is a terminal a, it will come in the first of s. Taking the second production, here the very first symbol is small d, that is a terminal, so that will also come in first of s. And for the third production, the very first symbol is g, that will also come in the first of s. So from these three productions, I have calculated that the first of s is a d g, right? This is a simpler one. Let's move to some more questions. Now let's understand the second example. Here in this case, we have four variables s, a, b, d, and they have their respective productions. Now, see, if I talk about this production, here it is starting with a capital symbol. And this is not a terminal, but this is a variable. As I have already told you, variables are starting with capital A to capital Z. But terminals are all the small alphabets or digits 0 to 9 or special symbols or operators, right? So if I need to find out the first of S here, first of all, I need to find out the first of this variable that we have not yet calculated. That is the reason why we will not first of all find out the first of s, we will take it later on, right? So I'll calculate the first of a. Here there are three productions and all the productions are starting with a terminal only. Here the for the first production, it has only one symbol, and that is a terminal. Second production is also having a single symbol, and that is a terminal. And third is also having one terminal, right? So first of A will be A, B, and C. Now first of B will be capital B will be small b, and first of capital D will be small d, as these are the first symbol of your production, and that also a terminal. Now while calculating the first of S, what you need to do is you have to find out if the first symbol is a terminal or not. If it is not a terminal, then you will calculate the first of that variable. So I will write the first of C. So I have to find out the first of A, B, C, basically the whole production. And if I take these two productions, here the first symbol is G and here the first symbol is J. Both are terminals. So G and J both will come in the first of S, and you have to find out the first of ABC. When you will find out the first of ABC, with the very first symbol is A. So you will find out the first of A. What is first of A? ABC. So ABC will come in the first of A, and then together the first of S will be a, B, C, and G and J. This is also a simpler one. But here, what concept was new as compared to the previous example? Here we have introduced a variable. If it will have only variables. If the productions will have only terminals as the starting symbol, then calculating first is very very easy. But if it has variable, then you have to be cautious that you will find out the first of that variable. Now this was also simple, but now let's move to a little trickier one. Now, in this question, what we need to do is see, this is your given productions of the CFG. We have four variables S, A, B, C. Here you need to find out that the first symbol is a variable. So for now, I am not going to find out the first of S. The technique will be that you will find out the first of those variables which are having terminal as their first symbol. So if you find out the first of A, here the first symbol is small a, first symbol here is small b, and first symbol here is epsilon. So first of A is A comma B comma epsilon. Similarly, first of B will be, first symbol is here is C, first symbol here is D, and first symbol here is epsilon. So C, D, epsilon. Now you will calculate the first of B, where the first symbol is CD epsilon, so it will be in the first. After that, you will find out the first of C, where the first symbol is E, F, and epsilon, so EF epsilon. Now you want to find out the first of S, right? So for that, the very first symbol is capital A, but you will take this whole production. You will write first of A, B, C. Now, first of A, the very first symbol is A, B, and epsilon, but you will try to avoid epsilon. So you'll just take all the terminals without epsilon. So you'll take A and B, epsilon is not there. And if let's say you are finding out the first of a particular variable, and if epsilon is there, you have to move to the next symbol, right? So the next symbol is, see, first of A is consisting of epsilon, so you need to move to the next variable or whatever symbol you are having. So then you will find out the first of B. Now, as you know, from first of A, I have picked only A and B, but not epsilon. And similarly, if I calculate the first of B, you see there is C, D, and epsilon. Again, you need to exclude epsilon and you have to take all the symbols except epsilon. So C and D will come. So together they will make A, B, C, D. But as we know that the second symbol also consists epsilon, so you need to move to the next symbol, that is C, and you will also calculate the first of C. Now first of C is having E, F, and now, as I have told you, you will try to ignore epsilons until and unless you find out a variable which is not having epsilon. But if by doing so you reach to the last variable and that variable is having epsilon, then there is no way you have to actually include that epsilon. But the thing is, if in between you find out a variable which is not having epsilon in the first, then you will not switch to the other symbols, right? So E, F, and epsilon will be included, right? So this is how I have calculated the first of S. So in exam, there will be most of the calculating the first of most of the variables will be very easy, but at least one or two expressions will be like you will be little confusing. So you have to be very cautious, because if you calculate first incorrectly, then you will calculate follow also incorrect, because first and follow are related. Now let's take one more example. Here in this example, this is very easy one, right? One of the easiest you can say. Here you have to find out the first of E, then E dash, T, T dash, and F. So first of E is what? You have to find out the first of T, but that you don't know currently. Then first of E dash will be very first symbol here is this asterisk symbol, and then first symbol here is epsilon. So first of E dash is asterisk and epsilon. Now first of T will be very first symbol is a variable, that is F. So you will calculate the first of F, but still you don't know the value of first of F. So you will wait for it. Now next what you will do, you will find out the first of T dash. First symbol is epsilon and the first symbol of this production is plus. So you can write both. And then first of F will be what? ID. Now see, most of the students commit a major mistake here. They take small I as a terminal. But ID is not basically, I and T are not different symbols. ID is basically representing identifier, that is your variable. So take it as a single terminal, right? So ID is completely a terminal here. And in this case, the starting symbol is what? This starting bracket. So this will come here. Now as we know that I have to find out the first of T, for which you need to find out the first of F that we have currently calculated. So this will be directly passed here. So ID and this starting bracket will come here. Similarly, for finding out the first of E, you have to know the first of T, and that we have calculated now, and that will also be copied here. So in this way, this was one of the easiest question, because there is no concept of epsilon here. It's very easy. Now let's do one more question. Now this one, as you can see that the first variable is having three production, and all these productions are starting with a capital symbol, that is a variable. So we will for now skip it, and first of all we will calculate the first of A, B, and C, because they are easy to find out. So let's take first of C. First of C is directly, the first symbol here is H and here it is epsilon, so H and epsilon. First of B is, first symbol here is D and another symbol is epsilon, G epsilon. And first of A is, here first symbol is D, and after that you need to find out the first of B. What is first of B? G, right? So you have written D because you have got the first from here. So D though you have got from here, but for this you need to find out the first of B. This is the first symbol. First of B is what? We have G, but you will not take epsilon, you will simply take G. So D and G are there. But if epsilon is there, then you need to move to the next symbol. That is, you will calculate the first of C also. Now, first of C is having H and epsilon. So, if the last symbol is having epsilon, then you cannot do anything. You have to include the epsilon. But until unless you reach to the last symbol, you have to ignore the epsilons. So, now D was there from this production, and first of B got this G, and first of C got H and epsilon. So, together, first of A is DGH epsilon. Now coming to first of S. So first of all, you need to find out the first of A here, and then first of C from here, and first of B from here. So this is very good question. Please pay your attention here. Let's understand it. And one more important point is, if let's say this type of question will come in your exam, you are not supposed to simply write the answer directly, but you have to actually explain, right? If it is a 6 marks question, you should not simply write the answer, but better you explain it. Okay, so if I calculate the first of A here, see what will happen in calculating first of A. First of A we have already calculated. See from here, as I've told you, I've given an explanation also to those students who have missed this. See, first of A is what? First of BC. First of BC, then in first of A, the first symbol you got from there, D, small d you got. But first of BC, if you are want to find out, you will take only G and you will move to the next symbol, that is first of C, and from there you will get H epsilon. So DH epsilon and this small d also. Okay, from this expression. Now calculating first of S. This is the major one. And then calculating first of S, you can see that first of S is first of ACB, and first of ACB will have first of A. First, what is first of A? First of A is DGH epsilon. You have to ignore the epsilon and you will take all the terminals. So it is DGH. You have removed the epsilon and you move to the next symbol, that is C. Now you will find out the first of the remaining expression, that is CB, and the first symbol is C. So first of C is having H and epsilon, but you will only take H, you will not take epsilon, and you will move to the next symbol, that is capital B, right? We have taken the first of A without epsilon, we have taken the first of C without epsilon, and we now will take the first of B. Now first of B is what? G and epsilon, because in the last variable also epsilon is there, so we have no option, we have to take it. So DGH epsilon is the first of S from the first production, but you also need to find out the first of the second and third production, and then together will make the first of S. Now see, in this case, what you want to do, what you have to do. So listen, let me reduce the size. So here, as you can see that for the second production, you will find out the first of capital C, right? If you find out the first of capital C, it is having H and epsilon. We will just take epsilon and we will ignore the epsilon. We will first take epsilon and we will only take H and we will ignore the epsilon. And then we will move to the next symbol. When we move to the next symbol, that is a terminal. So very good for us. So we'll write only small b because this is a terminal. So together, first of S from this production is H and small b. Now for the last production, first of S will be capital BA first. You have to find out the first of this complete expression. The very first symbol is capital B. So you will write the first of capital B. First of capital B is what? G and epsilon. You will take G and you will ignore epsilon, and you will move to the next symbol, that is small a. So first of small a is A only. So the together it will make GA. So from here, what you got to know, that first of S is having DGH epsilon. Also it is first of S is having H and B from the second production, and first of S is having G and A from the third production. So together, if you make the union of all the three, the resultant will be this one, right, that you have got. So I have just union all these, and this is the result. So this was about calculating first. I have discussed 4 examples, and once we discuss the how to calculate the follow, then later on I will upload some 5 to 6 questions where you can further practice first and follow yourself. I'll just share the answers with you. Better you practice, and if you find any problem in any of the questions, I can upload the solution for the same. So that's all for today. Thank you so much.